Hey, I'm romance author Lori Thorne, and this is my weekly writing vlog, Good Time Writing. Welcome in! I will share what I've been up to in my writing this week, and you will get to go vote on your favorite line from my WIPs at the end, and sometimes I even share unsolicited author advice. It's a good time, and it's a good time writing, so let's go ahead and get started. Bring up the visuals. Here we go. So I'm writing two romances right now. I've got Dirty Hands on one side and Occult Accounts on the other. I'm focusing mainly on Dirty Hands, which is a standalone book. Occult Accounts is the second in series to a book that I just released this year called Enchanting Elixirs. So let's do the rundown. On Monday, oh boy, we are starting hot with unsolicited author advice. On Monday, I only wrote 491 words in Dirty Hands. Now, I planned to do a lot more than that. However, I was having a lot of trouble closing the scene. I had written the scene, the meat of it was done, and I was like, where do I go from here? And do you know what the solution was? I didn't need to close that scene. I didn't. I just needed to move on. The scene was done. And so that happens a lot of times in writing. You will be thinking too much, taking the reader through the doldrums, which is something you don't want to do. Do you have your characters wash their laundry? I mean, maybe you do if it's specific to your story, but you see what I mean. The reader doesn't see everything. They don't need to see the neat, tidy close of the scene. The scene needs to wrap, and then you need to start a new scene. So if you're having problems closing a scene, ask yourself, do you even need to? Maybe you're already done, because that's how it was for me. I was already done. So I did realize this, and then I could continue writing, but I think that's a really easy mistake that a lot of people, it's a place to get hung up on. So just be aware. I also did 574 words in Occult Accounts, and Hestia has accepted her quest. It has been a while writing this scene because it's a complicated one, but she has officially accepted now. On Tuesday, I did 958 words. There was hesitant flirtation. And we learned something super important about one of the main characters. And I did 269 words in Occult Accounts. On Wednesday, oh my God, they touched. I love the building up, like the flirtation, the first accidental touch between people who are into each other. I love that. It's part of my favorite things that I get to write. And so this week has been very fun with the writing in Dirty Hands, because there was the first flirtations, and then there was the first accidental hand brushing, and oh my gosh, love it. I did not do any writing in Occult Accounts on this day. However, I did hours of research on New Zealand, which the folklore in New Zealand is Maori folklore. I may be pronouncing that wrong. I have watched a video on how to pronounce it like so many times, and it's like my mouth doesn't make the right sounds. Anyway, I don't mean to be offensive. If I'm mispronouncing it, I'm doing my best. But fascinating. Holy wowzers. I learned so much about their magical creatures, about just their general, the way that they do history and art. It's very genealogy based. And fascinating, their priests, which are like leaders, of course, they're wise people, and they're really like they're the medicine people, they're like the doctors that you would go to for medicine, are called Tahunga. And there were so much fear when immigrants, English immigrants were first there, about witchcraft, and that was shared with the Maori people too. There was so much fear about witchcraft that they actually made a Tahunga Suppression Act in 1907. And it really, a lot of their history, a lot of their medicinal practices were lost. Very interesting stuff. Anyway, lots of research on Thursday or Wednesday. On Thursday, I did nothing. I did other things in life. I kept trying to get to writing, and my job was very busy, and life and my family were very busy, and I had band practice in the evening, and it just did not happen. Even though I intended it for it to happen, it just didn't. And at 9 at night after band rehearsal, I was just like, I just gotta call this a day. And today I did 579 words and wrapped up a chapter in Dirty Hands, and I did 844 words and looked up business contracts, contract attorneys, safari wear, like fashion, and fun things to do in Auckland. We're ending the week. I did 2,589 words in Dirty Hands, and we're on chapter 20, just beginning. And I did 1,687 words in occult accounts, and we're in the middle of chapter 10. All right, so now it's everyone's favorite time. It's time to vote your WIP. So here are my 3 favorite passages from this week's writing, and you can tell me in the comments which is your favorite. Number 1. Unfortunately, I do have an idea about the first steps to take on Claire's lich assignment. It involves breaking into a literal uninhabited and previously cursed mansion and combing the labyrinthine rooms for clues. No biggie. Number 2. I didn't know what to wear. I was going to the garden center and didn't know what to wear. It felt ridiculous. And number 3, the entire encounter lasted seconds, but it might have been my whole life up to the point. Let me know which is your favorite, and follow me for more good time writing and other fun writing stuff too. Number 1.